President also made news on another front overnight, weighing in on that firestorm rocking the NBA. It all began when TMZ released this audio tape said to be LA Clippers owner Don Sterling making a series of racist remarks to a girlfriend. Here's part of the tape.
People call you and tell you that I have black people on my Instagram, and it bothers you.
Yeah, it bothers me a lot that you want to broadcast that you're associating with black people. You have to. The little I ask you is not to promote it on that and not to bring them to my games.
George, the president was asked a direct question about those tapes, but it was a little surprising that he weighed in so forcefully and so quickly. The authenticity of the tapes hasn't even been confirmed yet. Take a listen.
When ignorant folks want to advertise their ignorance, you don't really have to do anything. You just let them talk, and that's what happened here.
White House officials say the president wasn't planning to weigh in on this controversy, but when he was asked a question about it, it was natural that he would weigh in so forcefully. As one aide put it, basketball and race are two things this president knows well. George?
No question about that. Let's bring in ESPN Stephen A. Smith, been covering the story since it first broke. Stephen, thanks for joining us this morning. We saw that press conference by the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver last night, promising a quick investigation and action. What do you expect?
Well, I expect them to do exactly what he said. They're going to investigate it, and if they can authenticate the fact that that is indeed Donald Sterling's voice on that tape, then I think that you'll look for him to meet with the owners and to try to bring down some heavy fine, potentially a suspension on the part of Donald Sterling. I'm just not sure that will be enough in light of these allegations based on what we've heard on that tape, George, to be quite honest with you. I think you're going to hear people clamoring for significantly stiffer penalties, meaning the owners getting together and possibly moving Donald Sterling out as ownership. I don't think that'll be easy, no doubt about it, but you're going to hear people calling for that in the days to come.
You've already heard players like LeBron James say there's no place for him in the league, for this in the league. And I know you were reporting on the Clippers having a meeting before their game yesterday and talking about the possibility of even boycotting, not playing.
Well, it was something that they broached. They discussed it, but in the end, they weren't going to do that because they recognize this is about themselves. This is not about Donald Sterling, all the hard work that they've put in throughout these years in pursuit of a dream of capturing an NBA championship. They're not going to let his thoughts, his rhetoric, his racism, if indeed that is him on the tape, they're not going to let that derail what their quest is all about, and that's winning a championship. They're certainly not going to let him ruin the party that they're trying to conduct. But in the end, they do work for him. They're appalled by it. I spoke to several people within the Clippers organization. They find his remarks reprehensible, if indeed that is him. They're incredibly alarmed by it. Chris Paul, DeAndre Jordan, the list goes on and on, as well as Doc Rivers. And they should be, because clearly he was speaking about the issue in a very alarming fashion, essentially talking about how, looking at black folks in a very subservient manner. That's how they took it. That's how they embraced it. They're incredibly offended by it. And to be quite honest with you, they don't seem too honored today to be working for the man, but they understand they have a job to do, and it's about themselves more so than it's about him.
Okay, Stephen A. Smith, thanks very much. We're going to have much more on this later in the program.